I sometimes get goosebumps in a session. And that's not from the sadness, that's not from the cold, that's not from drama, but that is from pure joy. It happened last week. My client was mid sentence talking about something ordinary, her week, her energy, nothing special, and suddenly my arms lit up. Proper goosebumps. The kind that don't ask permission. I didn't interrupt her. I actually rarely do when that happens. I just sit there and let it pass, like a small internal nod. People assume goosebumps means something big just happened, a breakthrough, a revelation, tears, catharsis, fireworks. But most of the time it's the opposite. Nothing impressive is actually going on, you'd say. But you're not performing inside. You are not being brave. You're not doing the work in a way that looks good from the outside. You are just there, still, present, and not managing yourself for once. And that's when it tends to happen. And there's a particular quality to those moments. The room goes a bit quieter, even if no one notices but me. Your voice drops half a tone, your sentences aren't trying to land anywhere. You're not explaining yourself, you're not ahead of yourself either. You're here, and something in your system stops bracing. Now that's the joy, not the cheerful kind, the relief kind, the kind that you don't smile about. I've learned as a therapist to trust that reaction in my body more than any clever interpretation. My nervous system is picking up on something yours has just done, often before you even know it yourself. It's not insight, it's permission. You've stopped trying to be okay. You've stopped trying to be interesting to me, for me. You've stopped trying to get somewhere. And for a few seconds, nothing in you is pushing. Now that's rare. Because most people arrive in therapy highly motivated and quietly tense. They want to do it right, say the right things, make progress, be a good client. They don't say that out loud, but it's there in their posture, in the speed, in the way answers arrive a fraction too fast. Your system is working overtime just to show me it's worth the investment. And goosebumps don't show up there. They show up when that effort drops. Sometimes it happens when someone says something very simple like, I don't know, and then doesn't rush to fill the gap. Or when they notice an emotion without immediately turning it into a story. Or when they say something they've said 100 times before, but this time without defending it. No insight, no conclusion. Just truth without ambition. Now, that is the joy. It's not happiness, it's alignment. For a moment, you're not split between who you are and who you think you should be in this chair. And your system recognizes that as safety. And my system responds. People often think that good therapists get moved by dramatic disclosures. We don't. Not in the way you imagine. Moments matter, yes, but they're usually loud, jagged, full of adrenaline. But the goosebumps are quiet. They come when something lands there rather than explodes. When a pattern loses its grip, not because it was challenged, but because it wasn't needed anymore in that moment. I actually remember a session years ago. A client had been circling the same issue for months. Smart, articulate, relentlessly self aware, every angle covered, like a mother ice bear guarding the cup ferociously. Now, one day, halfway through a sentence, she stopped and said, almost surprised, I don't feel like explaining this today. And that was it. No follow up, no justification, just that. Goosebumps. And not because it was bold, but because it was unnecessary. She didn't need my agreement. She didn't need her own approval. Her system took a step back and realized it could. And that's joy. It doesn't look like progress, it feels like space. And there's a reason I don't always comment on those moments when they happen. If I point them out too quickly, the mind rushes back in to capture them, to turn them into evidence, to replicate them, and that kills it. Joy like this can't be chased. It shows up when chasing stops. It's also why my therapy can feel strangely underwhelming at times. People expect constant emotional intensity, visible shifts, things to happen, fireworks, but the work often looks like nothing is happening, and that nothing feeling deeply unfamiliar to you. A nervous system that has spent years scanning, preparing, managing, anticipating, suddenly has nothing to do for a few seconds. It doesn't celebrate, it exhales, it breathes. And my body recognizes that before yours does. And yes, it's joyful. Not because everything is fine, but because for once, nothing is being fixed. There's a quiet trust in those moments, not in me, but in the room, in the fact that nothing bad is happening even without effort. And that's not a mindset, it's an experience. And it doesn't care how much therapy language you know and how many self-help books you've read. I sometimes wish people would understand this better because it would save them from a lot of frustration. They'd stop hunting for big moments and start noticing when things simply soften. When they leave a session without feeling improved, but also without feeling worse, and realize themselves later that they didn't rehearse the conversation on the way home. And that's not nothing. That is your system standing down a notch and remembering and integrating that at a slow pace. Now, those are the moments that last. Not because they're more memorable, but because they are unremarkable. So when I get goosebumps in your session, it's not because something impressive just happened. It is because for a brief moment you stopped performing your survival and something old in you noticed it was allowed to rest. And that's enough. I don't need to name it, I just stay with it while it's there. And then we carry on.